Hello, everyone. People who are joining us, we are here now. Oh, Karen's just joined. Yay! I'm going to add her to the yay! We're like the Brady Bunch. It's like I'm looking at Kim and I'm looking at Karen. And I'm looking down at Fred, or this way. All right. I'm getting punchy. Haven't had my dinner yet. All right.
I didn't know we had to answer questions.
Oh,
So we
yeah,
had
I'm
to
putting you
post.
on the spot. We are live and you are on the spot. But you did a podcast episode, so you got like your experience now with all this stuff. So anyways, welcome. So if you are just joining us, please say hello and we will acknowledge you. And what I wanted to do in this live stream is I wanted to do two things. I wanted to introduce you to these wonderful ladies who are Spark second half souls, as I call them. And for two reasons. Number one, they are new student, what I'm calling sparked peer mentors in the second half Spark School program. So that was the first thing I want to do. And the second thing that I want to do is to just touch on, and I don't want to keep them here very long. They were nice enough to join. We coordinated our schedules, but I want them to just share a little bit about their stories. Now, I will say also that if you are a podcast listener of mine, of the Living Your Spark Second Half podcast, I did do episodes with the three of these ladies and three other students. And so I paired them up on different podcast episodes. So we did do a good, 45 minutes of conversation in the podcast episode. So those have aired in the last 3 days. So we're gonna just do a real brief, with three of them. They'll get less than 10 minutes each because I'm talking so much. But yeah, so one of the things that I really wanted to do in the second half Spark School is to have students who could help other students. And so I now have these amazing, transformed people who have gone through the program. And so I often think that, I can help and support the students as their coach, but I haven't personally been in the program, come in the program. I mean, I built it based on what I knew helped me, but being a student and having someone who is experiencing the content, the curriculum, the coaching sessions, and going through these really transformative experiences, having someone like them who they can talk to and can support them, I think is super. It's kind of like adding that extra layer of just help and support that we didn't have before, because I was doing everything in terms of answering in the group, and we just get different perspectives. The other thing that I like is everybody's different, and so we all have unique personalities, and so everybody's going to help in their style. And so I think that's really important too. So you get different perspectives, and some people will probably resonate more with you than others in the school. And so yeah, I'm really excited about this. And I was really excited that they were excited to be a part of this. So yay. We've had our own little secret meetings. And we'll have more. So yeah, I'll just go around and we'll start with Kim and then go to Fred and then go to Karen. So just like introduce yourself, just a touch on, where you live, if you want to say your age, ma, grandma, and then maybe how you met me. So just do that in this first round.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Kim Dede, and I live in the Fargo, North Dakota area. 56 years old, relatively new grandma. We have one grandson who turns 1 the end of this month. So he's walking all over and it's so fun. Got 3 kids and the 1 grandchild. And I met Lori online. I stumbled across her. I liked her content. I didn't really, I just saw a few things and I liked her energy most of all. And this was a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2 years ago this summer. So 2.5 years ago, Lori.
Yeah.
And,
Well, when you first came on the podcast, it was episode 7.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's almost 3 years.
Great. Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun. So, and I don't know if you want me to just say, I was stuck in a corporate job I was sick of, and I didn't want to spend the next 10 years there until, kind of the age-old retirement number that, we kind of shoot for when you're sitting in corporate. And Lori helped me do that. So it's been a fun ride.
Yes. And I always say it's not my decision. It's just that I can offer a different perspective. Yeah. And the thing with Kim that I think is really interesting, and she offers this different perspective, is that she knew her purpose because she had discovered it late in life. She's an author. She's a novelist. And she was in banking, like accounting.
I was an accountant for
and she
33 years.
Like the most amazing novels that have nothing to do with accounting. So you can't think of a more different purpose. And it was something that, and if you were in the training, in training 2, I think it might've been training 1, when I talked about the 2 parts of really becoming sparked and finding purpose is interest and meaning, those 2 things. And what happened with Kim is she found this new thing. She always liked to read, found this new thing that she just was dabbling in for fun. Yeah.
Because my nest was emptying out and I was worried I wouldn't have anything I enjoyed doing once the kids were gone.
Yeah. And what is Kim did that many don't, and I did not, is I didn't anticipate the empty nest. I was like, oh, this is great. We could be like this forever. And then all of a sudden it was like, and so, yeah. And I think maybe too, I had the belief that my job would fill me up, and then my job didn't, and jobs change. And so, yeah. So thanks so much. All right. So this is Frederica, but she goes by Fred. Fred, your turn. Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you. Oh no. See if you can figure out what's going on with your mic. So maybe something on your screen or your computer. I don't know. Karen.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. You want me to start?
Yeah.
Put Fred on hold for a minute.
Yeah, we'll put Fred on hold.
Let's see. I live in Idaho Falls, Idaho. I have 6 children, 12 grandchildren. I am a widow of 16 years. And probably, let's see, maybe 3 years ago, I was in a job that was stressful, that was not filling me up, I didn't like, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should quit it and find something else. I think I was probably 61. So was I eligible to retire at 62? I didn't know. There was just so many questions in my mind. And so all of a sudden I saw that there was a free course for women of my-ish age, and signed up for that, and found it to be very enlightening. One of the things back in that course, I don't know if it was your first or second course, Lori, but we jumped right into some of the training that Lori hasn't even started yet, working on positive affirmations and changing your negative feelings into positives. And I set those up. I was listening to them on my phone. It was making a difference. And I felt like I needed to figure that out and understand that part of the program before moving on. But so I didn't sign up for the course that first time, or the second time that I took it, because I didn't feel like I wanted to move on, make the financial commitment until I figured out what the big purpose was, what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And I have learned that there is no big purpose. It's a lot of little purposes that come and go, and you just grow with it. But during that first and second taking the free course, I did learn a lot of things, and I believe that that is what led me to the decision to retire a year ago, and then to figure it out after that, to take that big step and learn as I go.
Yeah. Yeah. So Karen was the star free participant, but then she bought one of my mini courses, or, you know, the midlife mindset mastery you bought. And that time, which I probably won't ever do again, I actually had a Facebook group. So the trick with positive affirmations is you have to customize them to your own limiting beliefs and your thoughts that are going on. And so, you know, working with someone else who can help you root out what those underlying beliefs are is so key. But she did a lot on her own. But there's, to a certain extent, you know, you can't. But I like the way you actually answered somebody who was asking a question about, oh, this big purpose thing in the group. And I loved your response, because I think it's very different for everyone. The goal is to live with more meaning and happiness. So that's why I say purpose is in the doing, not the destination. And what you've learned how to do is find multiple things that spark you. But everything that we do is our path forward in our journey. So it's still unfolding for all of us.
Right.
So who knows what it could lead to. And some people are just further along on like that, really nailing the thing that they want to do all day, every day, like Kim. And that's why I like her as an example, because you're like experimenting, but having a wonderful time doing it. And so Karen, what she learned too, is that one of her limiting beliefs was that she had to ask other people for advice, and that maybe their advice was better than her own instincts. And so that was a huge breakthrough that she had, is when, and I remember seeing your face, like when this is what I tell my students, is all the knowing is inside of you. It's just that we can't access it, especially number one, because we're not living our most authentic self. And because number two, sometimes the answers don't come right away, and we don't like percolate on them. And we just like say, I don't know. And that cuts off any possibility of an answer. And so like having the time to sit with somebody and really dig into those deep recesses of your heart. And so Karen, I didn't tell her the answer. Karen was like, oh my goodness, I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself. And
however, what you did is pose questions that made me look in various places, and you know, whether it be way in the past, whether it be in the future. You didn't ever give me answers, but you posed the new questions in a way that I could look at them differently and figure it out.
Yeah. And it's sometimes, and people, we're just not patient. I mean, I know that's one of my problems is in my, and it's not in alignment with my human design, because I learned all about human design. And so my nature and my personality is I'm a manifesting generator. And what I'm supposed to do is wait for a sign. And then I'm not supposed to act. I'm supposed to kind of like, you know, sit with it before I actually make a decision. And I'm like, decision maker. And I used to always be so frustrated with people that wouldn't make a decision fast. But then I learned, and that's part of me not being aligned with my authentic self. I learned. And then when I manifested something huge, it was like, that's exactly what happened. I made the request of the universe, and then I didn't take any, like, I didn't make any decision and take any specific action in the moment. I kind of just like sat with it. And then all of a sudden it manifested. And so understanding and learning more about yourself and your nature and who you were born to be and what your traits are is so key in like really understanding how your behavior and your decision-making process might be not really aligned with how you're supposed to manifest and bring things and attract things into your life. So yeah, so that was really fun to uncover that with you. And then it's like once you open that conduit, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to trust myself because like I'm right. And I know I'm right. And then when you like, and she had this whole manifestation around car, and you can listen to it in the podcast, but yeah, and now she's in this car, and now she's like, it's totally different than how you would have been feeling if you hadn't like trusted yourself and made that move and that decision. And that was so right for you. Yeah, that was great. All right. So Fred, did you get your sound to work? No. Oh no. Now, are you on your computer? Maybe if you used a phone, can you leave and come back on your phone? Because the phone worked with Kim earlier. All right, so try that. Hey, us grandmas are going to figure out the tech. We always do. One thing, we're persistent, ladies. Yes. All right, so let's see. It's 7:21. What was Kim, we worked for a while on you, just, kind of your trepidation. So I would love to know kind of because we talked about in training too, our fears and our beliefs. Was there anything specific that you learned about yourself that was keeping you from really following your heart and trusting your gut?
Well, my personality is just, I was an accountant. I was very responsible. And I was really afraid of walking away from a paycheck and the benefits. And, we worked through a number of things in the coaching, and I would say you were already doing what I wanted to do. I mean, you had moved away from the corporate world. You were doing work you were passionate about. I knew what I wanted to do, but I was just terrified to do it. And it took the work, and it took, you exposed me to so many things in your program that I never would have looked into. Some of it was woo-woo, and some of it was just getting quiet and listening to myself and what was really important. And, I've definitely come to see our age as a benefit. And you know what? We don't have forever. Sometimes when you're 20 or 30, even 40, you think you got all these decades left. And I just, you really helped me to move past that fear, because that's what was standing in my way big time. I was terrified for 5-10 years to make the move that I finally made a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will also want to say and acknowledge, I learned so much from my students, that they are my gift that keeps giving, giving to me. And I learn something from them every day. And I am an avid reader of Kim's books. So I could give them a plug. Celia's Gifts is her first book series. She does book series. It's kind of like Harry Potter. It's like, you don't want to, it to end. You develop this relationship with the characters, and thank God there's another book, and then there's another book, and then and then it like ends, and you're like, and then now she just started a new book series. So, and it's all
but
about
they're all about strong women in midlife and later, which is what I love.
So great. So great. All right, Fred's back. Fred. Okay, Fred, can you say hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Oh my gosh, we rock.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have a different device altogether, but I'm in the same place.
Yes. I didn't want to have you not be able to share. So yeah, we met a year ago in a very similar training. I've changed it to a new name and added new elements. As I learn, I want to teach these things in a different way. So yeah, so you jumped right in. I think you jumped in on the wait list the first day you jumped in.
I was, and I prior to that, just to lead up to how I found you was, I do suffer from SAD, seasonal affective disorder, and I found myself kind of in that downward spiral because it was January, and I live in Eastern Ontario, Canada, and we have really short days in December and January. But my son is a life coach. He works with men, of course. And I said to him, I need some extra help. Like, where do I find a coach? And he just said, oh, Mom, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Just look. And I think I had Googled, I don't know what I Googled. It was really long. I know I put in everything in there. And I was on Instagram, which I'm never on Instagram, or very rarely. Well, I'm on more now, but you popped up, and it was Not Your Average Grandma. And I thought, that's me. I don't want to be your average grandma. I mean, I can knit, but I'm not going to sit in my rocker and knit right now. But I found I had no direction. I had no ambition. I just, I think I might have been happy to stay in bed, but because I have 2 dogs, I had to get up and let them out. But when I did your free training, I still wasn't even sure it was you. When I did the training, I don't know that I've told you this, Lori, but I didn't even think you were live. I thought it was all pre-recorded. And so I was Googling your name and went to your website and all of that to, make sure that you were legit and not a Russian bot.
Not a Russian mail order bride.
Yeah, exactly. So
coach.
It really, everything that you said resonated with me, and it was something that I was looking forward to, that I knew I needed. I knew I needed extra help. I wasn't going to get what I needed from my family because they're too complicated in a lot of cases, right? And because you were into neuroscience as well, like it was just a plus and a plus and a plus. Yeah.
Yeah. And Fred, she shares this on a previous podcast episode she did with me, but she has a history of addiction, and her mother and her had a very strained relationship. And didn't your mom die early from
47? Yeah.
And then so there's a lot of baggage that comes with that, and if you attended the trainings that we did, the awakening trainings, that our beliefs are formed in childhood. And so Fred had a lot of rewiring to do. And I tell you, she went all in and committed and was really dedicated to the work, because it's not easy. And especially when you have these traumatic childhoods where there was a lot of dysfunction. And so, and she has a son and a daughter, and you were going through COVID. It was COVID a year ago. I mean, we were kind of coming out, but it was, you're in Canada, and Canada is pretty shut down. And so, it's been remarkable. And then, of course, I was contemplating having these peer mentors come into the program. And so I put it out to my student group, and I said, if you want to apply, here's an application to fill it out. And Fred told me afterwards that, and I was excited, I was excited when I saw these ladies, because I know they've all done the work, and they were very committed students. Like, I would call them A+ if I was grading. And I want that. I want mentors who have done the work, and they know that that experience of it. And at the pace we go in 6 weeks. But Fred, yeah, she said that she had just been thinking, she basically, and your thoughts, it's not just, you don't have to just say to the universe, I would like this. You could like think these thoughts. That's why our negative thoughts are so important, that we like get rid of them and eliminate them, because the energy field picks up that. And Fred said that she had been thinking about how she could help me in the school. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so great.
I know, it was amazing.
Finding some of the thoughts that I was having about needing to have mentors. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was great. The timing was perfect. The same as when you showed up on Instagram,
Yeah.
Here I was looking for a coach and you came up. And I've seen other coaches since, and they just don't have the same appeal as you do. To whatever reason, I think because you're more natural.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think people are going to connect. It's just that it's kind of an unspoken connection. I mean, some people will be like, oh my gosh, she's too much. She's too much energy, but so we're kind of an energetic match. I think that's what I feel like, is the people that are going to come into my sphere and join the Second Half Spark School are an energetic match with me. Even though they might be like vibrating low, they're attracted to my energy and they want that. And they think that I can help them. So that's I think key. And that was true for you. Definitely.
And I didn't have a huge breakthrough. I'm like Karen. I was already retired and I was already living on my own, and but I had no focus and no direction. And what you've dragged out of me are new ideas and just feeling better about the day, and still learning. I take online courses all the time because that's all part of the aging process, right? As soon as you start going dormant in your mind, who knows what's going to happen? That's when old age does set in. And, I thought I was too old. I'm 72. And I thought, oh, I'm too old for this stuff. I need to be in my 50s like Kim. But there was another lady that did an interview with you, Lori, and I think her name might've been Anne. And she was, I think, 74 or 75. And I thought, well, then if she could do it, I can do it too. And I changed it to, I only have a short time left to, I might live to 100. And by the time I get to 100, it could be 110. We're talking, almost 40 years, or could be. And so I better get my act together and do something. And I'm worth the investment,
Yeah.
I spent my money on my kids for so long. And, and I did consider the fact that, well, maybe they'll want to borrow some money. I better not spend it. And I thought, no, it's my turn.
Yeah. Karen was in that mindset. Like, yeah, I shouldn't spend this money. And it's like, okay, we don't even know if we're going to be here tomorrow. So I'm not saying spend frivolously, but spend it. You're definitely worth it. We're all definitely worth a happier life. And how do you want to spend the rest of it? So yeah. And I would, kind of debate with you on whether you had a big breakthrough, because I think you had multiple breakthroughs, and I witnessed them. You are a completely different person who came in than you are now. And I remember, I mean, you reminded me, I had forgotten. You sent me a couple emails, remember?
Oh yeah. Oh, I do. They were long too.
Yeah. And one session you like cried a lot, not with after, and it was a huge breakthrough for you. And so don't minimize. We always minimize. We minimize our worth. We minimize our value. We minimize our accomplishments. We minimize everything. That's just like what our mind does. And we would never minimize the people we love the way we minimize ourselves. So yeah. I would disagree with that comment, but yeah. So Robin says, I need this so badly, but on fixed income, I wish you had scholarships or something. Yeah. So, I mean, that's why we did the 12 pay, which try to make it really low. And I know it's still over $100, but yeah, I mean, there is, the thing about offering something for free is that I found, because I did a membership for a while where you came into the membership and the course came with the membership. And what I found is people weren't committed and people wouldn't do the work. When you have skin in the game, you do the work. And I value my time, and I put a lot of time and effort into the coaching that goes on, which is so powerful and so key. And so that's why, but it's lifetime access. You have like it forever. And so as I continue future coaching calls, you can get the replays. You can get updates to the course material when I learn something new, and I'm continually like experimenting with new things and learning new modalities that I can teach and share. And so as I'm learning that stuff, I'm sharing that inside the program. And so I would just say that consider this: once you commit to it, it's a lifetime deal, and you only have to pay for so long. And so it keeps giving, and then you don't have to pay anymore. And so that's the value there. And so and I will say also that when you have the bonus that I'm going to be doing, that I'm going to do live in March, which is, and it's after the 6 weeks are over. So I went live earlier and I said, you're really having longer than 6 weeks calls with me, because I'm doing 2 live workshops in addition to the coaching calls and the QA sessions that I'll be doing. So the money mindset bonus, which I introduced today as the bonus, that is something that will give you a whole new perspective about the limits that you feel are keeping you from being able to live the life you want. When you have a mentality that I only have this and there's no possibility for more, then how will you ever get to the place of where you have more? You have to have this different viewpoint and different set of beliefs that are unlike anything that you have now. And so that's what I would say. And it's scary. I know it's hard, but maybe somebody can gift you it for an upcoming birthday if it's something really important. And maybe they gift you the first couple of months, and then you see like maybe you can manifest something different in your life in that time, because we do manifestation the very first week. After the welcome call, you get to learn the manifestation process that I teach, and the students have an assignment to go manifest something small. And one great manifestation story, and it's 7:37, so I'll wrap up with this. But one great manifestation story was one of my students. She used to collect beach glass. I'd never heard of that as beach glass. But beach glass is like, I guess, when bottles are thrown or and it breaks up, and then it kind of comes back as these beautiful little pieces of glass. And she said she had never she used to see it all the time, and she hadn't seen it forever. And, you know, she lives by the beach and goes to the beach a lot. And so she decided that her little manifestation thing was going to be a piece of green glass, beach glass. And she went and she walked on the beach, and she said within like 10 minutes of being on the beach, she saw a piece of, I think it was blue. It was either clear or blue. And she was like, oh my gosh. And then she, this is what we do ourselves, we're like, oh, well, it's not green, but it's glass. So that's it. That was me. And like she said, she turned around and there was a piece of clear glass. And then she was like, oh my gosh. And then she's leaving the beach and she looks down and there's a piece of green glass. And I like telling the story, I get chills, but that is like from right after our welcome call, and she did that manifestation exercise. And that is proof. That is proof. That's why the first one is Kismet. And that's what I want to instill in you, that there is a belief that the manifestation process works, and you have to align your thoughts with what you desire. And there's some other pieces of the manifestation game that you have to play. But it's so key I had the 4-leaf clover thing happen, like crazy. And that was like me being the teacher and like, I got to prove it to my students. And it was like, it's just this like absolute belief, even though you have no evidence that it will happen. And so, yeah. So is there anything else in closing that you guys want to say? Thank you so much for being here. Karen, do you have any last words?
I have a thought just for this lady, and maybe it'll resonate with somebody else. I was going to just type it to her. But if you're on a fixed income, Social Security was just raised. Perhaps she could look back and see if something changed, if she had a good year last year and has an additional income this year that could possibly go towards your class if she's thinking that she wants to do it, or sell something, or realign your debt, things like that. There's different
that's a great idea. Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, that's a great place. I've sold a couple things on there, but yeah, it's it's kind of like what what investment are you going to make on yourself? And I think that the thing that is and have you all having been in kind of her shoes at one point is, prior to coming into the school, is there's no you don't know, there's this unknown, it's outside the comfort zone, and the security is not spending the money. The security is holding on to the money, and to like spend money that A, you don't think you have, and B, that you're not really sure it's going to work for you. That's hard to do. I understand it. I get it. But that's why having these people here and sharing their stories is so, I think, valuable, and hopefully it will resonate for you.
Can I just quickly ask Kim a question?
Sure.
Kim, did your income change when you made that big decision to go into writing?
Well, it's, what I've done, because I know it's going to be a long haul to get to the point where I replace my corporate salary, because I was there for a long time, but I've never been happier. There's so many other things that, the income is fine. It isn't to the level that it was, but I was miserable, and now I'm so happy, and my kids see it. And, I 100% agree with what you said, Lori, about courses. I don't even want to think about how many, free courses I signed up for, some paid. The free ones would hold my interest for a day or two, and I didn't have any skin in the game. But when I made this investment in myself, which is not insignificant, right? We're not necessarily used to spending money on ourselves for something like this. Mm-hmm. It's just been, I feel like, tenfold it's come back to me, and not all just monetary. There's so much more to life, and we've all been around long enough to know that.
Yeah.
And I just would really encourage everybody to, as well, to at least try to figure out a way to make it work, because
that's why I do the 60-day guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like a 6-week guarantee. It's like you have an extra amount of time to wrap up doing the work. And I do not want anybody to be not satisfied. Mm-hmm. That is not the kind of customers I want to have, or the students that I want to have. So that's, And so, mm-hmm. Karma, it's all about that's a universal law. So, and if I have somebody unhappy, and withhold the money that they gave me, what is that going to bring back to me in the end? It just that's not what makes me feel good. But I will say my coach, and one thing he says, and he's got a $3,000 program for people who want to start a business. And he is the most giving, wonderful human being. I've learned a lot from him. But what he says is the transformation is in the transaction. And he's learned a lot about transformation. He's very woo, and he's very has that, energy, but he's also very business focused. And so he has a really good combination of many things. But what that means is that the exchange of money, the energetic exchange of money for services, is actually very key in the universal complementary the actual name of the law, it's not polarity. The name of the law is escaping me, but there's something about that it creates this energetic shift in both people that the outcome is an incredible transformation. And so it's like the transformation is in the transaction is so key. And like, think about it, from the days of the Indians and the cowboys, when they exchanged things, there was always some kind of an exchange for something, right? And so, yes, the school, well, first of all, enrollment closes tomorrow at midnight Pacific time. So you need to commit before the doors close. And then the welcome call is next Monday. And then you have some stuff, you have like the bonuses, and you can access that when you first enter the school. As soon as you purchase, you get access to the school. And then the welcome call is like really our first coaching call. And then the coursework, the core of the coursework, where, I was explaining how the manifestation thing is in the first real module. There's an introduction module, which you'll have access to, but the Kismet module is really where you start the real work. And that's going to be made available after the welcome call, as soon as that welcome call is done. So yeah. So excited to see these happy women. Facebook user. I don't know who that is. Facebook user. Let me see if I can see who that is. But yeah, so thank you. You guys, I mean, I like to say that I can't, I can talk till I'm blue in the face about how amazing this is from my perspective, but your perspective is so key in letting them see what's possible for them, letting the people who are seeing this see what's possible for them. So thank you. And I'm excited that you're going to be like in there, like helping with create their new positive, empowering thoughts and getting those working for them, so they start to brainwash their poor little brains that have been operating on all these limiting beliefs.
And if any of you have specific questions for Kim or Fred or myself, feel free to type them to us or send a private message or whatever. And we're checking the group all the time to help answer questions.
Yeah. So they are in the group, and Kim Hanstead, Dee, is that what you are? Yeah. Hanstead, Dee, Frederica Wagner. Is it Frederica? I can't remember. It's Frederica.
Yep.
And Karen Hill. So yeah. So just shoot them a message. Talk about me behind my back. That's okay. All right. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.